Welcome to the Ref Room, hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, Scott Smokin' Sills and Brad Baumrock.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
Oh, yeah. It is, I want to say Wednesday, but it's Monday night. Our new time and new bat time, new bat station right here. 5:30 every week, Mondays. It is the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin' Sills along with Brad Baumrock. Welcome if you're just joining us. If you're a new viewer, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're an old viewer, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. It all helps, so we appreciate it. Today, we are going to catch you guys up because we've had USA Hockey with winter meetings, and we're going to talk about some of the updates from the meetings, as well as kind of catch up on, it's been really busy with hockey, obviously. A lot of games, today being Martin Luther King Day. Tournaments have been going on, so we're going to catch up on some of the stuff that's happening with that. We've got a lot of great guests coming up starting next week. So we're back in the saddle with the new time. I hope this works for everybody. If you're a new viewer, please put in the comments, say hello to us so we can at least say hello back to you. That's how it kind of works. And from there, we'll talk some hockey. So it's good to see you again. I mean, we took a week off last week. The new year is going on. We're catching up here. How you been?
Good. I think we needed a week off, though, to be honest with you. So that was good. So
well, the change of schedule, you know, I mean, we had to like right the ship basically because we had games last week. I couldn't get off to do them. So, you know, we're just rolling, you know, that's the way it is.
Yeah. And I know everybody was skating this week. So I know there was a lot of referees out. There were a lot of games here in Chicago. And I had a good time. It was a good weekend. I admit that. I had a lot of fun.
I worked a ton on Friday, a ton on Saturday, had a show last night. Worked a couple this afternoon. Got to go back tonight. So you know, it's just nonstop, man. It is hockey season. The hard thing to believe is, like, we're already almost down to playoffs. We are a couple weeks away from playoffs now. Am I right?
I think the first playoff series will be the 4th, 5th, and 6th
of February.
Yep, in Chicago, I believe that's coming around.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, we're a few weeks away. Hard to believe. Again, if you're just joining us, thanks for joining us, of course. Hit the subscribe button, please. Hit the like button. Like button is nice. We don't mind. Hit the like button a couple times. Makes us happy.
Get the notifies.
Yeah, exactly.
The notifications. That's a big one.
Yeah, hit that too. That's a good one as well. The notification. Ring the bell. It's called ring the bell. Smash the like. Ring the bell. All hockey terms. Smash the like. Ring the bell. So anyway, man, did you work some good games over the weekend? You want to talk about some of that before we get into the meetings?
Yeah, let's talk about. I had an interesting situation. So, Scott, you go through it and you assess the penalties. I'll go through the situation and you can assess them. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
All right, so it's not
Let's
typical
let the
USA
viewers
hockey.
assess the penalties. Let's have the viewers in the comments assess the penalties. But go ahead, let's give it a shot.
So we're at the end of an ACHA college game, so just keep that in mind. So we're using NCAA rules with some ACHA adaptions in there, but none of this should be affected by those adaptions. So at the end of a game, it's 6-4, 6-5. The home team wins. There's two players kind of battling near the end of the game, right near the far door, so in the neutral zone, the door that's in the neutral zone. And the player.
Do I know what rink this is so I can visualize the door?
No. So, but I'll tell you this. Hang on, no, that's a good point, Scott. That's a great point.
Yeah.
The far door. So I'm in the zone on the goal line. The far door is in the neutral zone, and the penalty bench and the scorekeeper bench are in the middle of both, and the close door is inside the blue line. So does that make sense?
No, but
you're
go ahead.
A visual guy. But anyways, all right. Well, we needed it to slide.
Right.
Well, anyway, so they're battling, and the home team player knocks the visiting team's player's stick out of his hands. Whatever, it happened during the course. There's no harm, no foul. Well, he proceeds to pick it up and throw it over the glass into the penalty bench. Okay, so
he was
it's
just
not
assisting. He was assisting getting his stick into the penalty box area.
correct. So it's not
Since
towards
the
any
linesman didn't get it done, the player helped him get it done, right?
correct. And
Okay.
mind you, this happens at the 0, so the buzzer already went off. So he did it afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you got there for that?
Well, you got to start getting a little creative because you got to decide what you want in this situation. Do you want to impose something on that player because we have the game is ended. So unless the player has a few penalties possibly before this happens, I mean,
Nope.
otherwise he's going to end up. It doesn't matter what you come up with. You can come up with a 2-minute, a 10-minute, whatever you come up with. It may not mean anything in the long run, unless you can get more creative, or maybe he's had 2 penalties before that or 3 penalties before that. And now he,
But remember,
do
it's
you want
college.
him sitting a game?
It's
Are
college.
you?
Scott, college rules.
Oh, okay. You've lost
College
me because
rules.
you've lost me because you'll have to help me on that because I haven't done a college game in a couple of years. I haven't really followed. We didn't
No,
have any
that's
last
fine.
year. We didn't have any
So-
last year, so you'll have to walk me through this one.
So with the situation at hand,
Somebody knows the answer. They're calling.
no, I don't think my dad's watching. I think he's hanging out. So
Okay.
no, but in that situation in the college rule book, even if you game him at the end of the game, game misconduct's an ejection. So I just went with the simple 2-minute minor. Okay. Well, that
2-minute minor is unsportsmanlike?
correct.
Okay.
That had a response from the visiting team player, who decided to start pummeling this player.
Oh,
Okay. So now
we
we
got
have-
escalation.
Well, all right, so we have that happen. So now a player jumps off the home team's bench in response to this, grabs this player, starts pummeling him.
All
right, so what do you got?
This is the snowball starting to roll here, everybody. Just so you know.
Now, mind you, all he does though in this pummeling is he grabs him from behind and tears him down to the ground. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
But he left the bench. But he did leave the bench, right?
He clearly left the bench, 100%. I even have the video that he left the bench afterwards.
Okay.
So but-
stay with us because that's probably a key component to this.
So here's the next interesting part. Now there's an actual fight that ends up breaking out between the original visiting player and a different player with a very similar number. So they end up fighting, whatever, and all that. And so we go, okay, good. We get everybody broken up. We send everybody off. We got the players' numbers. We end up assessing it. We give the guy 5 minutes and a DQ for fighting on the visiting team. We give the player 5 minutes in fighting, which is then a DQ on the home team player. And then we give him 5 minutes and a DQ for leaving the bench.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we come to find out afterwards, oops, the player that came off the bench was a very similar number to the player that ended up actually in the combatant of the fight because everybody got together, though. He ended up sneaking out. So on preparing our report, we find out what number it is. So we put a correction in our report, and now it's up to the league. So
Yeah.
it happens. It was
Listen,
a tough one. You get blocked out.
As a referee, I think one of the most difficult things and one of the most underrated things as a referee is trying to identify numbers, especially they're hard enough in just regular play. They really are. I mean, if the player turns his back to you, it's easy to grab a number. But a lot of times jerseys are in pants. They don't have side numbers. You're looking for something similar, but they've got the same gloves. They've got the same helmet. They have the same decals. It's not easy. And even some of the numbers where it may look like a 1, it's a 7, or a 7 may look like a 1. It's very difficult. And
know
if
what
you
you're
have
talking
a
about.
scrum, the most difficult thing, and especially we're working so many 2-man versus 3-man and 4-man systems right now, that if you do have a scrum, you need both guys in there to break up players. it's not easy to say, oh, you go break them up. I'm going to get my riot pad out and I'll take all the numbers down. It's, you know.
Scott, if I was working with you, you can break them up. I'll write numbers down.
I'm sure. That's what I heard about. I heard you were soft that way. You just a numbers guy.
Hey, you know
but
what?
it is. I don't think
best.
that's something that we talk about enough, or maybe even have enough training. There's probably some of the really good refs that have been around for a long, long time probably have some really good secrets that, you know, they've learned over the years that would be very helpful for everybody to know in those situations.
Well, number one, I'll tell you just what I've learned from my own experience is if you're a newer official, once you start refereeing games, and I'm talking mites, peewees, whatever you start at, every time a player touches the puck, and this came from another senior official, remember that number.
Yeah.
And do it throughout the game. All game up to 3. And then after a while, you'll start to just grab them. It'll just become second nature. Yeah. So
well,
if
you're
you
a numbers guy. See, I'm a visual learner.
Well, hang on. So I got a good tip for that. Okay, they're wearing all the same equipment, correct?
Yep.
Okay, but every once in a while, a guy will have a bubble, or he'll have a black cage compared to a white cage. His stick will be yellow. His stick will be orange. His stick will be
the
blue.
Stick may be different. You're looking for tape on this. You're looking for some identifier. It's easier, you know. Those are men's league tricks where he might have a bubble.
Hang on, no, but I'm just saying
that is not going to be in youth hockey where everybody's got a cage.
All right, so in youth hockey, does the guy look like he's 35 years old and have a full beard, and you have to ask him for ID after the game?
Well, if he's 14, he does now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, I got a funny story.
I missed you, Brad. This is what happens when we take a week off.
So actually, I got a good story from this weekend, and this was a partner of mine that I'm working with, a very accomplished referee, and we have a midget AAA U18 game together. And he's refereeing, and the center that comes in to take this face-off before the game is a big boy. He's huge. Like, he does not look anywhere near 18. So my partner turns to him, and he goes, "Hey, you got ID in order to play in this game? Because I'm not so sure about your age." And everybody on the ice, including him, is laughing. Well, now what was funnier about it is, you know, they're out there kicking a soccer ball around to each other and all that stuff before the game. And I saw him as I was walking by. And when I walked by him, I was like, "You got your birth certificate today?" I go, "Because I don't know about you being able to play in this game. You don't seem very eligible." Well, after my partner did it, he wheeled by me because I was on the far glass side. And I was like, I asked him the same thing. We had a great laugh. I mean, it was just so funny.
I usually go over to the coach and go, "Do you guys live near a nuclear power plant or anything?" Because the guy's so big.
Well, what's interesting about it is everybody on both teams was big, but this guy was
Even
probably
bigger.
almost 7 feet on skates. He was huge. He was a big kid, and he could
tall, or
he
was
could
he
play.
wide too? Was he wide too?
No, he was tall. He was not. He was
he was not
very
thick.
very thin.
Okay.
But he could play. I'll tell you that. I was shocked. He was huge.
the reach on some of those guys. There's a girl that's playing. I don't know if she's probably out of junior hockey now, or out of like under 18 youth hockey. But oh my God, like, she had the long arms and she could toe drag that puck. She was a great stick handler. I think she was around a year or two ago. AAA. Oh my gosh, like, so good. But you know, they've got that length. They can just bring it around.
Yeah,
Always
I
fun
wasn't
to see.
blessed with that.
No.
So, I deal with the size that I am.
I'm like short arms, vertically challenged, so it's like got the little alligator arms.
Well, as long as you
Can't
don't
even
do
see
that
them.
when
See, they don't even stick out on the show.
as long as you don't do that when we go for dinner, I'm good. Every once in a while somebody gets
As long
alligator
as I don't
arms,
do
they
it for a
can't reach the
washout,
top.
it's okay. That's all.
All right. So, what about winter meetings? Do you want me to explain what winter meetings are?
Yeah, that
I
might
don't
be a
know.
good
It's just-
starting point for some of our viewers that are not familiar with winter meetings.
All right. So, winter meetings are they are held normally in Florida. They've been there for a really long time. It hasn't really changed, but they are the prerequisite meetings for what's going to happen at the USA Hockey meetings in June, July, somewhere in there. But they start talking about, if there's a rule change year, they start talking about the proposed rules, which we got last year, remember, right after those were over.
Right.
But also they start tweaking some things within USA Hockey. So there were a couple of changes. Scott, I sent you the email, and I think you already probably clicked into it.
Yes, I did. I actually did look at it, and I'll bring it up, but I got to fix something else. So keep talking for a second.
Yeah, no problem. But anyway, so what they do is all the affiliates have a seat at the table, and just to be clear for everybody, the affiliates are the partnerships through USA Hockey, which are normally the states. Every once in a while, there's an affiliate, like Kansas City has its own affiliation, even though they're in the state of Missouri. So every once in a while that happens, but they all go in. The referees are there. The coaches are represented. The players are represented by the affiliations. And it's a mid-season type meeting to where they start working on everything else. Well, this year there was some very interesting changes. These aren't always 100%. These are just updates that we have received so far. So Scott, you got the bigger text over there, and if I do it, I'd be looking at my phone. So
Well, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at my phone too, because I wasn't going to put the email up because I didn't want to.
I wouldn't put the email up.
Huh?
No, I wouldn't put it up. But
No, I'm not putting the email up. But give me a second to pull it up because now my phone has to update here.
no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
So the number one thing is what people are going to hear is USA Hockey has decided to increase its fees by $15.
Oh yeah, I did see that. That was number one on the list, by the way.
Hold on.
But-
Let's make this very, 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 ultimately very, very clear before anybody gets mad. It is not going to impact the officials.
Right.
So
I'm glad you pointed that out because you would have had some guys that would have been like.
I want to make sure that that's what we've been told. So just so you know, it's not going to impact the officials. But if you happen to be a player or a coach, it seems like from the information that we have gotten, they're going to go up by $15. Now, if I remember correctly, when I was at USA Hockey Congress, so it wasn't 2 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere in there, I believe I was in one of their big town hall meetings, and I think they had already proposed this, and I think it was just a stepping stone for so many years, and my memory isn't the greatest on it because I took in a lot of information that weekend, but I know that was something that they had talked about. And the idea was in order to increase at a certain amount so that fees would stay the same for at least 3 years. That was their biggest thing because they were doing, I don't know if anybody remembers a couple years ago for players, probably about 10, but they were like trying to always play catch up. So they were doing these increases every year and it got kind of redundant. So they wanted to try and get ahead of it in the future. So,
Well, I'm curious, and I'm not a coach, so I've never paid for like a coaching seminar or anything of that nature, but coaches, their fee, if they are a player, let's say they're playing men's league and it's USA Hockey somewhere, which some of the rinks are still USA Hockey for men's league, and you have to pay a fee. That allows them to coach as well. Is that correct? They don't have to pay a second fee like a referee does. A referee, if you're a player,
no, not that I know of.
you have to pay a second fee. Is that correct? Am I right in what I'm saying? The coaches don't have to pay a second fee, or they do?
I don't think so. I think they do.
Anybody out there that's watching that's a coach, can you let
That's
us
the
know
only
about
thing
that?
I have.
Put it in the comments.
I only held a coaching cert for one season.
For some reason, I thought the coaches were allowed to their player
I'm not sure.
paperwork is good for
I'll be the
their
first one.
coaching paperwork or whatever you want to call it. But that's what I had heard. I don't know if that's true or not. So somebody out there watching will tell
Somebody's
us.
got to know.
Yeah.
All right. So the next biggest thing was there was a big discussion of changing the rule change process
Right.
to allow the officiating staff and all the coaches and everybody to get better prepared because so player coach insurance is the same and officials is different. I'm
we
pretty
have
sure,
a
but we don't know who it
here
is.
comes a comment. Let's put this up there right away. I'm not sure who this is because it's a Facebook user. So
And I couldn't get the link today.
Oh, you didn't put the link up? Okay. You're
I
fired.
could not get it. So you
fired.
can't
You're fired.
Well, it wasn't loading in our past shows.
Oh,
so.
okay. So player and coach insurance is the same, and official is different. Pretty sure. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, we get different. We get dental in ours.
Oh, they don't get dental?
No.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, I never knew that. That's one I didn't know.
Yeah, because you're
Look,
forced.
If
If
you get into a bad situation and you're working USA Hockey, I will tell you the insurance is pretty good. You know, like if you're involved in the catastrophic situation, take it from me firsthand. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
There's some things that could be a little bit better. That's not a knock.
I think that's everything.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, it is. So it's a good thing we have it. Let's just put it that way. And
Correct.
we take that for granted a lot of times, guys. We do. And we shouldn't take that for granted because you may need it. So, all right.
So back to the winter meetings part. So they want to move the rule change process to 6 months before July. That's what they're talking about. I have no idea. We didn't get clarification in the email. Luckily, we were supplied by our referee in chief with this information in order to talk about it today.
Yeah, thank you,
get
Eric
everybody
Castle.
up to speed.
Thank you, Eric Castle.
So they want to move it 6 months before seminars. So seminars are possibly going to start in July again, as they have been, instead of the rules passing in June and then having seminars in July. So for anybody that's an instructor for USA Hockey that runs their own seminars, because our state does a lot of the stuff collaboratively, and we get a lot of materials from our state, which is nice. But it gives us time then to prepare for these seminars instead of trying to get it together in a month. And we've seen kind of how that's happened. So lots of people were looking for it. Good news. There were just over 24,000 referees nationwide. So that's 3,000 more than last year, which I don't know how that was, but a lot of other places must have had a lot of people because we were down.
Well, we were down, but what are your percentages? Because you guys got a lot of new level ones. I mean, there's a lot.
So that I don't have a breakdown of that, but I can tell you this: of the 24,000, 18,000 of them are completed this season.
It's good.
So that's a good number. But 24,000 is still 5% lower than pre-pandemic levels.
Yeah. So that's 6,000 people that paid in that didn't complete.
Correct. And that's super common.
Is it?
And they still have till, actually I got to look up the date. We should check that out one day.
Well,
but we'll start reminding people.
I'm guilty of this many years ago, and I'm going back, I've been doing this is like my 10th year. So if we go back maybe 20, 25 years ago, I signed up. I sent the fee in, got the stuff. Nobody ever contacted me. Nobody ever mentored me. Nobody ever tried to walk me through, like, this is what you're going to need to do. This is the process. I really think that, USA Hockey, or I don't know, is it USA Hockey's responsibility or would it be IHO? I'm not sure, AHI. But I think if from the time you actually submit and pay and try to become an official, I almost think we need like a big brother mentor type thing to walk people through this to get them to the, from one side to the other. Because I know last year I had a guy I know he played AAA hockey, played junior hockey. He'd have been a great referee. He filled out the paperwork, but he never completed. And I'm like, this guy could be working all kinds of top level games. And, when we get those people, we kind of get them hooked a little bit on being a referee. We need to somehow get them to the promised land. Does that make sense?
So what happens in our state, I can tell you this was something that's been in place for a couple of years now. We can pull out of our software who's incomplete. So they've attended a seminar, they have seminar credit, but for some reason they are incomplete.
But do some people even not even make it to seminar credit? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, when I paid in, they send you the open book test. I looked at that thing, I was like, holy cow, look at this book, look at this test. Like, that was enough to stop me in my tracks for the $50 I sent in at the time, I think it was. or whatever the number was. But I'm like,
If they have not received seminar credit, they are not considered incomplete. They are just considered a no-show. They're not incomplete in our numbers. If they didn't attend if they have to have attended a seminar and not been complete.
to be in. So how many
I
people
believe so.
are like not even counted as incomplete? I wonder across the country.
I don't know. I mean, we can get clarification from that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But I can tell you this, USA Hockey has kind of eliminated people from, like, let's say they registered for USA Hockey as a referee, but yet they never found their local to register for a seminar, because as of last year or 2 years ago, see, it's all blurring together, they force you to sign up for your seminar on usahockey.com.
Yeah.
So
that's changed.
you don't get lost in the shuffle there where you would have. You just now have to register for us again with our local. So it's a little different. Every local's different. Some, they just register once and they're totally done. But ours has the extra, as along with all of our partner states that are in the district.
So now if you wanted to become a referee, do we have some more seminars that are going to be available to people? Because this is a little later than we normally do. We normally are shut down by like late November, early December, somewhere around there, but we've continued to roll here.
Correct. We have a seminar 2-6 in Illinois, and that's open to
February
anybody in
6th.
any state, but it's in person. Downtown Chicago.
And is that going to be level 1, 2, 3, 4? Where are you guys cutting it off?
Right now it's level 1, and we're taking
One and only.
up to 50, but that could change here in the next week if we don't have enough participation from level 1s. We may back out there and see if there's some people that are possibly 3s that didn't get certified that could come out to a level 2. So there's always fluid in, or fluid. I can't think of the word, but there's always fluctuation.
Fluctuation. Okay.
What did you say?
I thought you were going for fluidity. I don't know how.
Fluidity. That's it. That's what I was going for.
Okay.
We're always moving. So
yeah,
we're definitely going to have the seminar. We have the space. We have the ice. So it's going to happen. So if somebody wants to sign up, you can get a hold of Scott or myself. We'll walk you through it.
We will.
Both of us
leave
have
us a
done
comment. Even on YouTube, put a comment in there, and we can reach out to you. We'll be happy to do that. We do see the comments, and we look at them, and we appreciate them. By the way, did I mention hit the subscribe button?
I think you did.
Okay, because I want you to hit the subscribe button. Yeah, very important.
So here's the new thing that's going to affect some of our referees that like to procrastinate. They have changed the deadline for completion for seminars to December 31st.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's interesting. And what is the reason? So they want to go calendar year to calendar year? Is that the point here?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I just know that here's what, we're running this seminar on 2-6. Guess what? Normally we would have the ability to have you complete March 31st. That's not going to be it anymore. It's going to be 12/31. So we had quite a few individuals fall to the December 1st.
Oh, yeah. But
cut off for the year.
So hang on. Let's back up, because I do know they used to have that March 31st deadline on something. But so the March 31st you had to complete to get in for a year. So let's back up and explain this to everybody.
So this is
you sign up for a season.
This is for the deadline of seminars. Yep, go ahead.
Right. Okay. And then, the other deadline. So did they change the deadline? Like, we used to have to get all of our work completed by November.
That's a good question.
Okay. That's
a
where I'm
great
going
question.
with this.
I'm gonna bring that up in here. But this is for seminar dates. So the 31st is when you got to be done. So we won't be able to host any more late seminars. I am not 100% sure because it wasn't in this email. It might have been covered, but then again, it might also be something that they're going to talk about. That could just be the hard set date. So let's say you had a seminar December 30th. All those people need to be done with everything by December 31st, by the end. But I don't know that for sure, so don't quote me, but normally it's March 31st. So right now, this year, you're good till March 31st. You can still get done. This doesn't take effect until following seasons.
Okay. Now there's something else that's tied to this because, we all have to take Safe Sport. And now there's a ticking clock on Safe Sport every year. So I'll let you walk everybody through this. But it used to be every like 2 years. Now it's gone down to every year. But now it's actually a 365-day ticking clock. Like, start the countdown timer because your Safe Sport ends and you're toast if you don't get it done.
Okay. Sorry. Somebody put a comment in there and I was reading it. It's an A-House comment. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's what USA Hockey and whatnot was. That's how it was governed beforehand.
Yep. A-House. I do remember A-House. That's back when I was playing. A long time ago.
It was still when I was playing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So
somebody says, why don't we wear ties and sport coats? Yeah. I think Brad should be. We didn't even get the hair and makeup today because we had been doing games. We got helmet head. I don't know about you. I still got helmet head. I'm going back out for more. So
I'm going to tell you this. I came home. I showered, Scott. I sat down on my couch. I put on a movie. And I got these big pillows on this couch, and I turned to my Alexa. Turned to my Alexa, and I said, "Set this." And I was out till I was getting on here.
Must be nice.
I was only out for like 30 minutes.
Must be nice. I rushed home, man. I barely got home to turn everything on to get ready to do this. So, I hope you guys appreciate the effort. That's all I can say.
Well, so anyway, so the Safe Sport, like Scott mentioned, it's going to be tied 365 days. Don't forget leap year, though. But anyways, but so let's say I did my Safe Sport tonight on the 17th. Yep. My Safe Sport will be required to be done by the 17th
of March
of next year.
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm assuming they've got a good package of reminders that will be sent out. And like, how far in advance are we going to be able to do it? Like, so let's say you have today, March 17th, you got January 17th, okay? That was when you took your Safe Sport. So you're due next January 17th. Can you start taking it in November, October? Or do you have to wait till like within a 30-day window of your timed period? I don't know how that's going to work. That'll be interesting to see.
Number one, I don't know. Number two is, why would you want to do it earlier? Because it would change your date drastically. Now, maybe if you did it with your seminar.
See, you're a numbers guy. That's a good point because the clock would start ticking on you sooner.
Correct. So like, even if you think about this season, I did my refresher when I did my seminar in July, August. I can't remember when I did mine. I think it was like the first or second weekend of August. Then I did it right away. I think I did it the day before. So mine's going to be due here in August. So everybody that did it this season, if you did it in August or September, and you're already going to be due very shortly coming up here.
All right, so we
unless
got
they let it
youth
go
hockey
after this season. Yep.
Youth hockey, we kind of get a break, a period in the summer where there's no youth hockey. Let's say like there's not much in like July, right?
Yeah, July.
Maybe we get a tournament August. But anyway, there's a few weeks in there where you might not have youth hockey. So maybe the powers that will be will figure out when the best time for us all to do that refresh will be. But would you be allowed to work you could work men's league without having Safe Sport or not? Or do you have to have Safe Sport to be able to work anything?
If it's USA Hockey certified, you have to have Safe Sport because you could encounter youths in the locker rooms.
Okay, that's a great answer.
That's the
Very
big
good.
reason.
So everybody knows. So if it's tied to USA Hockey, it's going to be tied with Safe Sport. So perfect. Good.
Correct.
Nice. All right.
But I think that was all that was in there.
Okay. Well, that was good. I mean, that's some nice information. Let's just say hello to a few people, and we're going to kind of continue here. Let's go back to the beginning, and I believe Alan.
Everybody's a Facebook user.
What's up? He wants to send a shout out to Joe Prescott, one of the legends, a.k.a. Pops. All right. So thank you for that, Alan. Appreciate your checking in.
I like
right-handed stick or left-handed? Need a better visual here. Yeah. I'm going back to what we were talking about earlier with that stick going over the boards.
Yep.
That's the player coach insurance thing. Karen Hyde says, flexibility. Yes, we are very flexible. I'm not, but, I mean, I am, but I'm not, okay? And why don't you two wear ties and sport coats? Yeah, I don't know.
On the show, I think he means.
Yeah.
Or she.
Oh, somebody gave you a name. Brad Baumrock.
That's too close to Scott Smoking Sills.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Copyright infringement? I think I'd get in trouble with that one.
I think we got to get you something, Brad,
You know what?
All right.
Everybody calls me horrible things on the ice. Should we make it something horrible on this?
Yeah, no, let's not. We'll let them have their own names for you on the ice. That'll be private. You have to go out and watch Brad. You have to go pay him a visit to find out what they really call him on the ice. So there was a Facebook post that came in yesterday on our page on Facebook, and it came from.
Oh, this is a good topic.
I actually know the person. I'm not going to put a name out there because you guys can go to Facebook and check it out. But it was written, and I know them. This is the wife, and she's involved in the hockey world like your wife is. And her husband he's a good friend of mine, and he's a goalie, and their son has become a referee. But the question that was raised was like getting paid. Like, why does it take so long, and how does it work? Because I guess they're getting impatient for their money. Mm-hmm. And of course, I responded, well, nobody referees hockey for money. That's not the idea. That's why we don't do it. And I got a few chuckles on that apparently, but that's just the way it is. But every scheduler we have and I'm speaking for the Chicagoland area. And Brad, you might be able to tell us a little bit more about, because you had some experiences with Missouri and some other places. So as far as Chicago is concerned, we have several different schedulers, and each of them pay differently at different times. So you kind of have to know, where you're getting your games, who you're working with, and how they pay. And a lot of it sometimes is put up on the website so that you'll know, it's like disclosed, like this is how it works. The main one being AHI, they offer direct deposit, or they will do a paper check for you. But they do charge you for a paper check, and it takes longer for you to get it. So the best way to do it is to do direct deposit. It goes routed right to your bank. They take care of it for you. It shows up at a scheduled time. It's like clockwork. It's there, or it's there early. It's usually there a day or two early sometimes, but it's like clockwork. With the other schedulers, some of them will pay you after a tournament, and they will disclose that. They will usually tell you, like, okay, we have a tournament we're taking care of, and this will be paid probably, in 2 weeks or whatever the case may be that they decide they're going to pay you. But some pay with PayPal, some pay with Venmo, some pay with a check. The main thing is they pay. But, the idea, you need to know when you're taking these games, if you're interested in finding out where your money is and when you're going to get it, is to kind of know that up front. And you can usually find out, it's usually disclosed within those websites. Yeah. I guess that's the best advice I can give you. But, if you're doing AHI, I highly recommend you're doing the direct deposit. That's just the better way of doing it for everybody. It's better for them. It saves you a few bucks because you don't have to pay monthly for your paper check and the cost of.
Because I think it's $10 for a paper check.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the cost is with that, but I know there is a fee associated with it.
For so long. Yep, I've done it so long. And it typically, I'm going to just put this out there. If you're a hockey person, you probably know somebody that referees, or like a dad referees, or a mom referees, or the older brother referees. Ask them if you're wondering. They might know.
Yeah,
they'll help you out.
That's
one thing, but the other thing is too, parents, I'm just going to put this out there. If you have kids that are refereeing, this is a perfect time to teach them about banking and pay slips, because we get a pay slip that's emailed to us, and I take mine every month and I compare it side to side to my schedule. Did I get paid properly? Because every once in a while, mistakes do happen. Computers do make errors. I hope people realize that. They do make errors. So you have to go through it. And then also it'll teach them about when you're supposed to get your direct deposit, or direct deposit for us, if it's on a Sunday, if the 15th falls on a Sunday, it's the next day, which in this case, the direct deposit fell on Sunday.
In this case, it's actually, this one is actually the longest
Saturday.
one we have to wait for, because then you had a holiday on Monday. So your money's not going to show up until Tuesday the 18th. And I don't know when it becomes available, but, it is what it is.
Well, because it gets processed the 15th and it gets into your bank account the next day. So the 15th was Sunday. So your Saturday. Sunday was Sunday. So there's no banking that day. And then today is the 17th. And it's a holiday. So we'll get our money tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
I've always raised the question. I've raised it with you, and you actually answered this for me a little bit, because I didn't know some of the bylaws that some of the clubs have to work with. But, I'm like, in this day and age, like, why don't you just order, like, I need 12 games and here's what they are. And you go to a website and the prices for each level broken down. And it's like, okay, I got 24 refs at this amount, and cha-ching, it's $875, and you submit your PayPal, put it on your credit card or whatever, and boom, you're paid for. And it's like, now you don't have to chase money.
There's about 9 issues that I could see there, and I might be exaggerating.
Yeah.
Number 1 would be the managers put the game schedules in, correct? Okay, that's how it works for most of the teams. Okay, there are managers that will request referees for a midget major game, and it's a mic game because they accidentally clicked the wrong one. So that's your first issue. You might end up paying for midget major referees for a mic game. That's number 1. Number 2,
you should know what you're booking, okay? I mean, think about it.
Mistakes happen, all right? But let's look at it the opposite way. Let's say a midget major game requests mites on accident.
I think that happens all the time, Brad. I think if you look at your paycheck, you'll see that that's what you're
Hang on. But so now you paid for the mites, so you're only going to pay them $34. So you're still chasing money.
Yeah.
That's number 1 issue that I see. Number 2 issue that I see, you'd have to give every single manager or anybody that can book games a credit card or a payment method. So now,
there's got to be a way for them to work with that. That one we'd have to talk about. But, there's got to be a way that they would have, like, their slush fund for referees, like, it's allowed to come out of this when you order, and it can only go there, like, I get where you're going. You don't want any kind of fraud taking place on a credit card or whatever.
There you go. So that's and I'm not gonna say that's probably not the norm. I'm just putting it out there. The next part is, what happens if I pay for the game and then I cancel it within time? So now somebody's still chasing money around because now they got to refund you.
Well, but that's no different from walking into a store. You bought something, you return something, and you get a credit back.
But, Scott,
you pay for it when you get it. You get a credit back when you return it. It takes a couple days to get your credit back. That's
Scott. Do you think the team managers are going to be that worried about $100?
You know what?
The treasurer is going to be worried.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, they're not going to be as consistent.
Okay, but that's like the person that buys something and decides, I'm not going to return. It's not worth the effort. Okay, that's your choice. That's the choice you made.
But that money is the club's money collectively, not their own personal funds. If you want to make that decision about your own funds, go right ahead. That's the club's money.
Wouldn't the treasurer go through an audit and go, oh, yeah, we overpaid. We only had like 14 games. I'm just saying, in this day and age, there seems like there would be an easier way.
Scott, so here's the next part about that. So now what you said, so now the treasurer has to sit there and confirm with each team manager and coaches and whatever, was this game played? That's the only way to audit that. Now you're asking a volunteer treasurer to go through every game that a club pays for. No, that's on the managers.
Don't they do that now? Don't they do that now?
Yeah. I would think, they go through the manager. They say, did you play these games? Well, if you're the manager,
so why would that be different than what they're doing now?
Because
I would assume they don't want to overpay for games that they didn't have, that didn't take place.
Then you have the human factor in there. Oops, I forgot to get the money back. Yeah, we played that.
Well, there would be like a return window, a 30-day,
Well,
period or
I'm
whatever
just
that
pointing
you
out.
get your
I'm just
return.
pointing out what I see. But here's the next
Okay.
thing: certain clubs, their bylaws only allow so much expense, even by the presidents or whatever, and there's only possibly one, maybe two people that can sign a check.
Okay.
So that's how their bylaws are set
Well,
up.
that's
so
why
that
I
money has
ask
to
you
get out
these
there.
questions, because you know some of the answers to this from being on the team side of things. So this is great. I think a lot of referees would like to know this, and that's why we're getting your expertise on this.
Yep. No, I mean, I'm just giving the best possible answer that I can have.
Yeah.
I mean, I just see a lot of mess ups. I know that game schedules get sent in to the assigners to be put in, and they're like, you can't be playing here. Why? Because we already have a college game at that same time. Oh, no, I'm positive. Please double check for us. Oh, sorry, it's the next day. Could you imagine all the misorders and problems that would happen? And also you're dealing with a rather large sum of cash. So that's the thing that always worries me, even though I try to believe that everybody's good in the world. But unfortunately, one bad egg ruins the entire dozen. So that's just how I look at
Funny.
it.
Somebody said
The Goodfellas
the
thing.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Maury, when do I get paid?
What am I? Where?
That is
Today.
hilarious.
Today, his hairpiece comes off. Doesn't come off.
Oh, man, we got a legend checking in. We have the one and only Glenn Cosby from V103 Radio, one of my good buddies, checking in there. What's up, Glenn? Good to hear from you. Appreciate that. He runs a company called No Ego. He's got a cool, like clothing line. But appreciate you checking in, Glenn. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Brad disappeared. I don't know. That's twice he's clicked himself out of the show. Not sure why. I'm sure he'll come back in here after he figures it out. So we'll just leave him up there blank for a minute. Either that or I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared. So hopefully he'll figure it out in a couple seconds and chime back in here. But anyway, that's a few of the things we wanted to talk about with the winter meetings going on. Again, if you haven't had a chance to hit the subscribe button, please do so. We do this every Monday. We do it at 5:30 now. That's our new time on Mondays here. And, if you have a topic you want to talk about, we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to send us a comment or an email. Either way, you can hit refroombrad@gmail.com, and he'll be happy to respond to you. We do have some special guests coming on and scheduled for next week. A lot of good games this weekend. Brad and I were going to talk some games. So let's see if he said, what is he froze up apparently. So let's see if he's going to reboot his computer and get back in, or we'll give him a second to try to get back on. But yeah, I know I had a couple nice games today. One was a gong show, and then one was a great game. What is he? He says his internet is totally out. So that pretty much sums it up. He's done for the day, folks. All right, well, I got to go back because I've got another game to go work. So thank you guys for checking in. We will see you next Monday at 5:30 p.m. right here at this time and location. And be sure to hit that like button before you go. We appreciate it. And the notification bell. So I'm going to sign off for my man Brad and myself. And you guys have a great week. And we'll see you on the ref room next Monday. Peace out, everybody.